The Dallas Mavericks have made the playoffs in 3 consecutive seasons after a 3-year postseason hiatus near the end of Dirk Nowitzki's career. In that period, they've also moved up in the Western Conference standings, finishing 7th in 2019 to 20, 5th in 2020 to 21, and 4th with home court advantage for the first time in 11 years in 2021 to 22. Although the Mavericks have improved over the last 2 seasons, particularly last season, when they advanced all the way to the Western Conference Finals before falling to a more seasoned Golden State Warriors team, they could have been even better if not for bad beginnings to the season. The Mavericks have been under 500 by the 25-game mark for the last 2 seasons for a variety of reasons, including Luka Doncic's conditioning, injuries, the NBA's COVID regulations, and introducing a new coaching system with Jason Kidd last year. But what we really need to talk about is how Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks are putting everything on the line. Surprisingly, the Mavericks were unaffected by having to play from behind in the second half of last season. However, with a lack of secondary playmaking as a result of Jalen Brunson's free agency departure, Dallas needs to get off to a quick start this time around if it hopes to cement its place among the West's best. From what we've seen of Doncic's international play this summer, he appears to be in the best shape of his NBA career. If that trend continues into training camp and preseason, the Mavericks should be in good shape, despite the fact that they will have to get newcomers Christian Wood, JaVale McGee, and JaVale Hardy up to speed. With Kidd's coaching ideas already in place, it wouldn't be surprising to see Doncic and the rest of the guys from last year's team get out to a better start. What many people don't comprehend about Dallas and all of the questions surrounding this team is what they're risking leaving on the table this summer. They believe that this will only lead to more sustainable long-term success. And what do I mean by this? Well, let's just go into it. In terms of acquisitions, they were able to re-sign Theo Pinson on a 1-year deal and sign free agency center JaVale McGee to a 3-year, $17 million contract. Then, as I'm sure most of you observed because it was one of the biggest moves of the summer thus far, the Mavericks acquired Christian Wood from the Houston Rockets. And personally, I was a major supporter of these 2 outside acquisitions because with Christian Wood in particular, it only increases your team's small ball powers, which were so effective last year, while also stretching the floor with his very adequate 3-point shooting. And then there's JaVale, who adds to the team's biggest worry from last year, which was certainly their rebounding and rim protection, which cost them severely in their playoff loss. So in terms of additions, they made some strong efforts toward improvement. But it's the one huge departure, Jalen Brunson to the New York Knicks, that has everyone wondering what the Dallas Mavericks are up to. Since Jalen Brunson, who just had a season in which he averaged 16.4 and 5.5 points per game at the age of 25, very obviously established himself as the second-best player on your team, there is a case to be made for him, and I myself can see both sides of the argument. It would be obvious to keep him in this regard alone, but when the topic of money comes up, this adds a new angle that everyone should take into account. Because Jalen Brunson signed a 4-year, $104 million contract with the New York Knicks. I'd like to know from Mavericks fans in the comments if you would be truly comfortable with paying him more money over the course of, say, the next 5 years. I know that the overall stats and numbers listed definitely don't tell the whole story because Jalen Brunson contributed so many positive elements to this Mavericks team as to why they won the championship. However, there are 2 key points of interest that I'm currently considering as JB walks out the door. The first is the fact that if they had signed this contract, the Mavericks would have thrown themselves in a true salary cap hell because Luka Doncic's agreement just started this season, giving them absolutely no room to try to improve their squad outside of trades. And second, how precisely will all of this affect what we see from Luka Doncic in the future? As you may have noticed during the summer trending on social media, Luka Doncic has been working on his body more than he ever has in his NBA career. And although I'm clearly interested to see a fresh take on doctors in the 2023 season, I'm even more excited about the possibility that what we see from Luka Doncic this season may be something we've never seen before. And undoubtedly, the Mavericks have made it quite plain to everyone over Luka's first 4 years in the league thus far that they will succeed the most when the ball is in his hands. If his year-by-year statistics don't do it credit, we'll just have to look at his usage percent, which he led the league in the past 2 seasons at an absurd 36 and 37.4%. Obviously, these figures are insane, but what if I told you that this season we might witness something even more extraordinary than this? For context, over the past 2 seasons, Jalen Brunson had the second highest usage percentage on the team, hovering between 20 and just under 22.
Monumental impact on not just the play of Luka Doncic, but also the Mavericks championship aspect.
Naturally, with all of this needing to be replaced, especially at the guard position, Luka will take some of it. But you'll also see Spencer Dinwiddie and even Jaden Hardy, if the Mavericks are lucky, taking this up as well. Whatever the case, I would not be surprised in the slightest if we saw Luka Doncic post a top 5 usage rate in a single season in NBA history this year, regardless of who fills up the majority of this lost time. The 8th highest usage rate in a single season the league has ever seen was achieved by him even this past season with Jalen Brunson by his side in the backcourt. And if you think that usage rate won't increase significantly with the Mavericks continuing to ignore Jalen Brunson's guard position, you are truly insane.
Even though the Dallas Mavericks were in a scoring drought, they came back in the fourth quarter and pushed back in the end to get the win.
But even moving on to that subject now and how Mavs supporters are incensed that they have not even attempted to replace this role on the team, in my opinion at least, it just speaks more into the fact that the Dallas Mavs are sticking with what they have done since Luka Doncic arrived, being that in order to see the most success with his style of play, you absolutely need to surround him with adequate and above average role players, which honestly I don't think the Mavericks can do any better. And to top it all off, it's become abundantly evident in this league that you need at least 2 stars to be in the running for the NBA title. The Mavericks may have just considered Jalen Brunson in this light and decided that they would prefer some flexibility in the near future over a 1-2 punch of Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson, who they may not have been entirely certain could carry them to the championship level. And after stating all of this, am I certain that the Mavericks made the proper decision at this time?
Shots came above the break where he shot 38% from 3 there. Free throw shooting is quite a question mark when
I'm not sure. It may be more of a sight for sore eyes for Mavs supporters if you're only considering their potential and performance in the upcoming season. But when considering this from the long-term Luka era in Dallas, this may turn out to be a decision that had a significant impact on the Mavericks' hopes of winning the championship overall, as well as on the play of Luka Doncic. It remains to be seen whether that colossal impact will be positive or negative. Since there are still a ton of Dallas Mavericks trade rumors that they are involved in this year, they very well may decide to act on one of them in the upcoming weeks or months.
This defense works because most players asked to stand in the weak side corner can either shoot or can attack closeouts.
Therefore, based on what the Dallas Mavericks management has done over the past few weeks, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what their overall strategy is. Injuries are definitely unpredictability, so the Mavericks will cross their fingers and hope they don't have to deal with anything major in that department this season. With as many lingering ankle ailments as Doncic has had in recent years, he may be able to have a mostly clean bill of health this time around. When Doncic is healthy, the Mavericks are capable of defeating any opponent on any given night. As we've witnessed firsthand many times, a slow start isn't a death sentence for the season, but playing from behind will catch up to you at some point. If the Mavericks want to continue advancing in an increasingly competitive Western Conference, they must do whatever it takes to win early and frequently. I've been dying to chat to you guys about the entire Mavericks situation this offseason, and I'm very interested to hear your thoughts. So what do you think of the Mavericks' performance thus far? What else would you like to see them accomplish in light of all the reports? And what are your expectations for Luka Doncic if they continue as is in the next season?